Donald Trump's camp is in full blown panic mode after a series of social media posts of Donald Trump crashing out. We got evidence of it, y'all. He's having a mega meltdown as Kamala Harris inches ahead of him in the polls. At one point, he thought this was a cakewalk. Then he said this might be a fight, but I'm going to win it. And now he's looking like he just might lose it. And so Donald Trump is starting to do what Donald Trump does. He is starting to obsess, and I really, really, really mean obsess about being mistreated, about Kamala Harris lying, and about, as my grandmama would say, or my mama would say, majoring in the minor. Look at his Truth Social account. This dude is losing his mind. He starts giving these unhinged videos. And understand, anybody who works for Donald Trump has to tell him things to make him feel better, even if they're ridiculous, because these are ridiculous people. So listen to what he wrote on Truth Social. What's he mad about? He's mad about the airport. Has anyone noticed that Kamala cheated at the airport? There was nobody at the plane, he said, and she AI'd it. He don't mean Allen Iverson, and showed a massive crowd of so-called followers. But they didn't exist. She was turned in by a maintenance worker at the airport when he noticed the fake crowd picture, but there was nobody there. Later confirmed by the reflection of the mirror-like finish on the vice presidential plane. The mirror-like finish. I'm sorry. He writes with such poor grammar, it's hard to understand. He doesn't know what a hyphen is. She's a cheater, in caps. She had nobody waiting. And the crowd, in quotes, looked like 10,000 people. Same thing is happening with her fake crowds at her speeches. This is the way the Democrats win elections, by cheating. And they're even worse at the ballot box. She should be disqualified because the creation of a fake image is election interference. Anyone who does that will cheat at anything. The man sounds stupid. The man sounds stupid. Let me tell you all the reasons why what Donald Trump is saying is stupid. Reason number one, it's simply not true. I understand that a lot of things are done with AI, including those photos of Donald Trump with black people. Donald Trump don't know no black people. Those are fake. This right here, Kamala Harris walking down the steps, all them people. You think this is AI? I know people who were there. I know people who were there. This is real. This is real. The people are there. But Donald Trump wants you to believe that this is AI generated. Why does he want you to believe that? I'll show you. He relies on Chuck Callesto. Chuck Callesto. You know who Chuck Callesto is? Of course you don't. Do you know why you don't know who Chuck Callesto is? Because Chuck Callesto is really, other than being a weirdo, is a right-wing conspiracy theorist and, I would say, hack. Breaking report. Notice he doesn't say who the report is from. Breaking report. Harris campaign busted using fake crowd photo at campaign rally stop. And he's trying to say that this image on the left is fake and that the image on the right is proof that it's fake. That if you look at the reflection in the mirror, you don't see people, and therefore that's the real crowd. Nobody's there. Literally one person is there, and that all of this is fake. There's so many reasons why that's not true, including if you look at the colors of the, you can see that the plane on the right isn't the actual same plane. You can just look at that and see, right? But also, there's no reason to believe that the plane on the right isn't the AI, that it isn't the CGI. You're supposed to just trust this with no evidence. But again, I'm not saying believe Kamala and don't believe Donald. I'm saying former President Trump and Vice President Harris anybody could be lying, but we have video cameras of people there. We got journalists on the ground who were there. Now he'll say they're all lying. He'll say that they're all hacks and frauds and in the can for the Democrats. In fact, that is literally what he's saying, right? That's his argument. Look, he says she's a cheater. Now she's cheating. Does he understand? See, there's a kind of arrogance, but also an immaturity and a narcissism that comes with him, where he thinks that crowd size is like evidence of like your superiority. He assigns self-worth to crowd size. When he talks about having the biggest crowds, he needs to have the biggest crowd. Just like on inauguration day when he had a fraction of Obama's crowd, he had to pretend that he didn't have a fraction of Obama's crowd, because for him, he had to beat Obama. He had to have more people than Obama. Now he has to have more people than Kamala Harris. He has to be the biggest. He has to be the best. He has to be the person. This is how his brain works. And so he's obsessed with proving that she really doesn't have more people than him, even though she does. Again, you can disagree with Kamala Harris. You can disagree with her politics. You can certainly say that she is running to be the leader of an empire and that her policies are no less imperial than Trump. You can make all those arguments. I ain't mad at you for having a principled, substantive critique of anybody running for office. But crowd size, y'all? I'm like Allen Iverson. Not the game. Practice? We talking about practice? Not the game. So he says now he wants her to be disqualified from running for president because the creation of a fake image is election interference. How is it election interference to show your crowd bigger than it is, even if she was doing that? How is that how is she interfering with an election? The voter has the ability to vote for who they want to vote for. And no one is voting based on crowd size. What idiot says, well, Donald Trump has more people, so I vote for him, or Kamala Harris had more people at the rally at the airport, so I'm going to vote for her. So the idea that somehow this is election interference would only make sense if people were complete idiots. Now, I know there are people who vote for Donald Trump who are, in fact, complete idiots. Heard, understood. But that is not what's happening here. What's happening here is exactly what T just said. He's laying the groundwork to say that it was a fake election. That's all he is doing. Donald Trump is setting it up. He's saying anyone who does that will cheat at anything. So the idea here is that Donald Trump is setting the path. He already said Democrats cheat. He's already said that the same thing he said against Hillary, the same thing he said against Joe Biden, right? Before the election starts, he says the Democrats cheat. It's unfair. They steal elections. So if he wins, it's I beat them even though they cheated. I beat two on one. And if he loses, he's like, I already told you they were cheating. I've been telling y'all forever. Donald Trump he's childish in this way. It's actually disturbing and scary that someone could be this ridiculously childish. But Donald Trump is unraveling. He seems to be off his meds. When you hear him speak, it seems like he's not taking the drugs or the whatever he was doing. Maybe he's doing yoga. I don't know. It looked a lot like Adderall to me. But whatever he was doing, Donald Trump seems to not be doing it as often. He seems jittery. He seems uncertain about himself. He seems confused. He seems unhinged. And because the people around him are all yes people and idiots, he's being fed misinformation to make him feel better, like the image of Kamala having a fake plane. He's saying that Vice President Kamala Harris had a fake plane image and a fake crowd. Donald Trump, if the images are fake and nobody's showing up, then that means that you're really winning. And the polls are all wrong and fake because it's all fake news. Then why don't you just ride out and win the presidency? Why are you mad? Why would you want her to be disqualified? Why would you want someone else? If she's the worst candidate possible, why did you want her disqualified to get somebody else? I mean, just hear yourself. You sound, you know what? This is why I have the fam in the audience. That's it, Katya. Katya Kitty said what I was thinking. And Marco Therarati isn't wrong. Oh, Marco the Rarity. I'm like Marco Therarati. I'm an idiot. My bad, Marco. It took me a minute. Marco the Rarity is right. Donald Trump isn't an outlier. He's not an isolated case. Donald Trump represents America. Unhinged, unprincipled. Not everybody in America, but I'm saying there's a sector of America that supports Donald Trump. And the reason he resonates with them is because a lot of us are bizarrely competitive and don't want to lose to women, and see ourselves in competition with women, especially black women. There are a lot of people who are self-obsessed, and the world feeds that. And Donald Trump represents our worst excesses. What happens when you have a large amount of money, a large amount of power, a large amount of resources? What happens when you have an expansive social network that can control things? You have Donald Trump. He is the outgrowth of our worst contradictions and most unrestrained excesses. Whew. And he's a jerk.